Hello folks, I'm doing an inventory on an open woodland stand. I'm in a big property, but I'm in an open woodland stand on the Salem plateau between Salem and Rolla. And I'm in a typical post oak open woodland site, kind of poor productivity. And I just figured I would take a walk through, kind of point out a few things as I walk. But one of the things you see is this is probably one of the nicest post oaks we have in the stand, but a nice, flat, broad topped post oak. A lot of hickory, classic overstocked open woodland. You can see these old bent over post oaks. This is about as tall as the trees are going to get, somewhere between 55 and 60 feet. Most of them 50 feet or so, depending on the microsite. But some of these old post oaks are pretty good size. Like that one's about 20 to 22 inches. And it's been here a long time, I'm sure. But look at how wide and flat that top is. And even the white oak, they get up to a certain point and they flatten out. Typical of these post oak flats up here. I mean, look at this. This is an old black oak, pretty knotty. Droughty site, so it gets the red oak borer pretty bad. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the soils. So typical of these oak woodland sites on the flats, the soil has a clay pan underneath that keeps the soils pretty wet in the wintertime and very dry in the summertime, and so pretty fluctuating droughty conditions, and keeps the productivity on these sites from being very high. But these are really great sites for managing open woodlands for wildlife habitat for sure. So likely what I'll recommend in this stand is to open up, thin some of the less fire tolerant trees, like the black oak out of here. Leave these white oak and post oak spaced out pretty good, and then use prescribed fire to encourage the forbs. Like there's a lot of this desmodium. Those are the beggar ticks. A really high value protein content and high nutritional value for browsers, and such as deer, and the little seeds, or the beans I should say, provide some really good food for. Wow, that's probably the biggest black oak that I've seen on any of this site. This must be a really good microsite. Let's measure this thing, see what it measures out at. There we go. Let's see here. At 32 inches. Holy moly. Yep, that is the biggest black oak on this entire property that I've measured so far. So pretty impressive. Surprised it's actually lived this long on this site, considering. But anyway, just kind of wanting to share some of my thoughts as I walk around typically in these sites. I'm thinking more wildlife habitat than I am timber production for sure. So that'll be in my management recommendations on this site for sure. Have a good evening.